Happy Thanksgiving, travelers!
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, travelers, welcome back to Roberto's room on this incredible day of Thanksgiving. For those of y'all that are outside of the United States, yes, I know it is an American holiday, but I'll tell you that you don't have to be in the United States to be thankful, and I hope that today, as you are celebrating with your family, hopefully with a significant other, whoever you're with, whoever you are celebrating with today, maybe you're just counting your blessings. I hope that today is a day for just that, to be able to count your blessings and really enjoy time with one another, thanking the Lord for all that you have received, all that you have been given this year. I'll tell you that for me, this year has been amazing personally, but also with this channel, being able to start it. We are close to our 250 subscriber mark in just 11 months, which is incredible. And I'm so thankful to everyone that has subscribed from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. And this is why I wanted to make a special Thanksgiving episode and talk about one of the classics for Thanksgiving, and that is Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. I recently got to see this again. Of course, this is a favorite, although I have to admit, I haven't seen this in a long time. However, I got to watch it, and as I watched it a couple of weeks ago, I thought, you know what? I gotta make a video about this because especially now, and especially in the world in which we're living in today, I think that this movie touches on a lot of things that we are seeing. You know, my channel's about a lot of things. It's about movies, it's about music, which I know I haven't posted a lot of music stuff, but that's upcoming. And it's also about Bible. And this is kind of an interesting video because it's kind of a cross section of my Bible and my movies. Of course, I want to talk about Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving. That special is so near and dear to my heart again. But also, I wanted to talk about especially the things that we see in the special and how they relate to 2025, the year that we're in today, because it touches on a lot of things that, if you look at social media, are very, very just rampant out there. And I'm talking, of course, about in the season that we're in, what's tomorrow, Black Friday, and I want to talk about overconsumption and how that's kind of allowed the meaning of Thanksgiving to be a little lost. Now, I'll be the first to admit that years ago, I used to be all in the Black Friday craze. I would actually eat Thanksgiving dinner, wait a few hours to digest, and then go out and do Black Friday shopping. And it wasn't until 2020, which I know that whole season of life for everybody was kind of like the dark ages in modern day. But I think one of the good things that came out of it is that it slowed down a lot of at least the Black Friday trampling over people shopping kind of a scenario that unfortunately we did find, especially throughout the United States. And this movie, Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, touches on that because at the beginning of the movie, we see that Charlie Brown and his sister are contemplating a lot about what they have to be thankful for. And I think that if we really take stock of our lives and we really get to see all that we have been given, all that God has richly provided for us, just the fact that we're alive, I think, is a reason to be thankful. And if you know the story of Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, of course, Charlie Brown, as often happens, gets into a little bit of a pickle with some friends that invite themselves over to Thanksgiving. And I think that the characters of Peppermint Patty, of Lucy, represent what a lot of us have in our hearts and in our minds all throughout the year, which is, I want what I'm owed. And of course, that sentiment is carried into, of course, the main plot of the film, with Peppermint Patty inviting herself and inviting some friends over to Thanksgiving, even though she didn't get the invite. Charlie Brown wasn't going to be there. And of course, Charlie Brown and his family, because of course he's a kid, had their own plans, and how he tries to do his best, and him, Snoopy, and of course Linus is always the MVP of the Charlie Brown shorts. You can argue with me in the comments. I welcome it, honestly.
Bring it on.
but they just band together and they make a non-traditional Thanksgiving dinner of toast, popcorn, pretzel sticks, and a couple of other knickknacks. And honestly, it was so endearing, so heartwarming. But of course, Peppermint Patty gets upset because that's not Thanksgiving dinner. Where's the turkey? Where's the cranberry sauce, the pumpkin pie? And I love the fact that this show, and I think it goes to the heart of Charles Schulz, who created Charlie Brown, a character that was used to teach lessons, which I think in today's day and age is very, very lacking. I did a video recently on the downfall of children's television, and I think that these shows, we need to invest more in having the younger generation watch these, because especially with things like TikTok, Instagram, just plowing through their minds this over consumeristic culture, having a little bit of a slowdown and just stopping, being thankful for the things that we have, I think is extremely refreshing, and something that we all of us need a little bit of reminding, because Thanksgiving is not about turkey. And this is something they even touch on in the special. Again, this is why I love this special so much, is because they touch on so many things. And one of these things, again, is the fact that Thanksgiving is not about turkey. Thanksgiving is not about stuffing. Thanksgiving is not about football. Thanksgiving is not even about family necessarily. Thanksgiving is about being thankful for what you have received and taking the time to thank the Lord for those blessings. And a big blessing, of course, is family. And of course, you sit around, hopefully with your family around the dinner table, and enjoy a big dinner. But if you don't, if maybe what you have is just some popcorn and some toast and some butter and some pretzel sticks, you can still be thankful, because there is a lot still to be thankful for. And that is the heart of Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, that no matter what, you can always be thankful for the things that you have. And I hope that as you're watching this video, that you have that same sentiment, that maybe this year's been kind of crazy. You're holding on by the seat of your pants. And I hope that today, of all days, it could be a day of reflection, and it could be a day of, as the name suggests, real Thanksgiving. And not about eating turkey, not about being around family necessarily, but just sitting down and being thankful for the things that you have. I love the ending of this, and I have to say, just before we get to the ending of A Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, Snoopy and Linus, the MVPs, because this dog and Linus both put together this meal with Charlie Brown just to have the kids just not appreciate it at all. And they still smiled and did it with a smile, and especially Linus, who reminded all of his friends about the true meaning of Thanksgiving and the pilgrims coming over and the Indians and them gathering together around this feast. And that is where, of course, the tradition of Thanksgiving from the United States comes from, and that is where really the roots of that holiday started, with the first people that came, the pilgrims to our country who sought religious freedoms, and how they, instead of turning on the people, which of course a lot of the conquerors did, they instead decided to invite them and learn from them and teach them at the same time, and really have a great moment that we get to reflect on today. And I think that, again, the message is carried on even throughout the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, as Linus, of course, says a prayer reflecting that of those that were in that first Thanksgiving, and how they were thankful just for their health and for the fact that they had arrived to this new world that we, if you're in the United States, are living in today. And I am incredibly thankful, like I said, for all of you guys, all of my subscribers, all of the things that I have enjoyed and I have received from God, and they are plenty. I mean, this video would be an hour long if I were to sit down and mention them. But I wanted to make this video because as you celebrate today, just take a moment, stop, and be thankful. I love the end because as they learn to really appreciate what they had, of course, Charlie Brown's grandma, who they were going to celebrate Thanksgiving with, invites all of the kids over, and they all get a really nice moment in the car together as they're driving over to Grandma's house. And then the funniest part, I think, of the whole thing is in the end credits, you see Snoopy and Woodstock, who had just worked all day putting on this Thanksgiving meal for these kids, gets to sit down, and they actually have the turkey and the pumpkin pie and all that, and they were holding out on those kids, but hey, they were there to learn a lesson, and I think the lesson was very well learned. Have you seen Charlie Brown Thanksgiving? I really hope that you have. If you haven't, take some time today, watch it. It is on a lot of different apps for free. I know it's on Apple TV Plus for free, but I would definitely encourage you, if you haven't seen it, to watch it. It's 30 minutes, but it is a wholesome look at what the real meaning of Thanksgiving is, and that is being thankful to the Lord for the things that you have received. And it is a sentiment that I hope we all can show on a day like today. Thank you so much for watching this video, travelers. I hope you have a phenomenal Thanksgiving Day and Thanksgiving weekend. I hope that you get some time to relax and enjoy with your families with hopefully a good Thanksgiving dinner, whether that is popcorn and toast or turkey, cranberry sauce, whatever it looks like. Just take a moment, stop, and be thankful for all the things that you've received. Again, I can say that I am very thankful for all the things that God has graciously just poured out from himself unto me. And one of those, of course, is all of you guys that we get to chill in this room. I am so looking forward to Christmas and next year, whatever that would have for the channel. Thank you so much for joining me for this review, travelers. Have a great Thanksgiving, and as always, go with grace.